Hi, this is Selena, and this is the Analog Archive Database at KBOO Part 2 video. As a review, I'm here because KBOO received funding for a digital stewardship resident from the American Archive of Public Broadcasting, and I'm here until May. My project is to design and develop a process for the digitization, preservation, and cataloging of KBOO audio. To learn more about this program that I'm here from, you can follow the link below. Also, as a review, the focus of my project is news and public affairs content, prioritizing KBOO-produced audio, digital preservation, such as the Digital Preservation Plan, procedures, improvements for long-term care and access. It covers analog audio materials from the 1940s and born digital records of broadcast programming. This presentation covers how record keeping affects search and retrieval, navigating the analog archive database, how to add and update information, and how to request or nominate items for digitization. If you missed part 1, the link is in that blog right there. And if you're familiar with the KBOO website, you can navigate to all of the blog information on the right-hand column. Record keeping has a significant effect on search and retrieval of information in the archives database. In this example, 2 significant events occur on April 28th, but in different years. April 28, 1977 was a trial date for Christopher Boyce when he was convicted on 8 counts for conspiracy, theft, and espionage for selling U.S. secrets to the Soviet Union. Interestingly, in an article I read, it mentions that Boyce now lives in Central Oregon. The same day, 10 years later, Portland engineer Ben Linder was murdered by Contra forces in Nicaragua. This shows that it is difficult to know what is held on a physical audiovisual media format without the documentation of dates and description. Documentation helps us know what we have and to prioritize digitization based on content. Often, we don't have a lot of information or dates with the items in the database. This is information from 2 records in the archives database. For item 10-0875, when you read the description, you may or may not be able to piece together what the content is about. If you are researching records on the Oklahoma City bombing, neither searching for Oklahoma or bombing would return results for this significant event. For item CS0152, there is no date, and all we know is that John Trudell was interviewed in the studio. However, there are 29 records for Trudell, and we should be able to specify which items are different and how based on topics of conversation. Whether this item is a duplicate of another one, because sometimes that does happen. Whether this item is the source material for another record. This is all information that is missing that could benefit users trying to find information from our database. So, what you can do is add details to the archives when you know it. Again, all dates, including the 4-digit year, is super important. The year with the actual month and date is really informative. Correct spellings of people names. There's oftentimes people names that are similar in the database, and without knowing the details of the history of KBOO volunteers, I'm unable to choose the right one. Add people roles when you know it. For example, is this person acting in the host role? Did that person record the show at remote? Add topics and description of the content. And remember that full words are better than abbreviations. So, what does this mean for searching our database? While the KBOO community continues to correct and add information to the archives database, you can try several things to find information. You can browse by date, try alternative words, search for part of the words with an asterisk, or think of the broad topic. For example, you can use the words that are in the website, the KBOO topic terms. and try several times. Try different searches and don't give up. So on to navigating the analog archive database. At any station computer, you can open up an internet browser and go to this link. The first view you see is the last 1,000 records entered. So you can see this 1,000 records resources found, but that does not include the entire contents. I recently entered mini disc records from Kathleen Stevenson's retirement collection, so to speak. So this is why all these different items come up. You'll notice that in the header, there's an advanced search link, a recently added link, digitized items link, and a login button on the upper right. You can use a simple search on the right to find items by searching for keyword, part of word, or using the asterisk as a wildcard search. Currently, the database holds over 7,700 items. What you can do with the database when you're not logged in is search and view informational records. You can listen to audio when it's available. You can save search results to a CSV file. You can propose changes. You can nominate items for digitization, and you can request a resource. So, requesting a resource, I want to make sure this term is understood. This is when the audio file is available. You'll notice that there's a request link, meaning you can't download the audio file. So then you have to request the audio file. This is set up so that if we have researchers coming in who want research access to our information, we can use the workstations for the database. Not allowing everything to be downloaded respects copyrights of other content producers. But if you have a login, you can download any audio that is available right away. So this is recommended, and I think you'll find it much more useful than not having a login. Next up is how to add information. This database tool was created to share information, however complete or incomplete it currently is, so that KBOO community members like you can contribute and be involved. It's transparent. You can ask questions anytime. And we're trying to correct the information to prepare it for public and other archive databases. So this search example is using the search term Roland. Clicking on any item brings up the details for each item information, and then there's a proposed changes link. So this is just one example of a name that appears in the database. You can see that there are some dates missing, so ideally KBOO hosts or staff members who know something about this information can try to go back and figure out more information that will help users find this archival audio. So if we go into this example, type in Roland, almost everything is Paul Roland's except for this one on top. We click on the title link. There is a proposed changes link, and perhaps the date is known. So we can change the date. And if you don't know the date, estimating is great, 1980 perhaps. And then you scroll down and you click save. So when you're using the database, there's a particular way to enter information. For dates, start with the 4-digit year, a dash, the 2-digit month, a dash, and 2-digit day. There's also type of date. So if it's known, for example, if the date was a broadcast date, that's a great specification. A date can also be the date that something was recorded, like a live event. A live event happens maybe a couple days before it goes on air. The date could be a created date. Perhaps it was a podcast, and all you know is that date on the file of the MP3, and you don't know when it was aired. For contributors, the names of people and their roles in parentheses would be great. If the role is not known, that's totally fine. And for subjects, choose from the existing list. So if we go back to this example over here, let's try contributor. So this will show existing values in a database. There's a couple for Kathleen because she has different roles. If the role is not known, if the person's name is from KBOO, it's great to enter that information there. And if the entry is new, you click that suggestion to add the information there. Subjects, again, the database holds terms that match the KBOO website topic terms, and we are not going to be adding new terms. So for subject, only enter the values that come up. Any other description or information can be added to the description page. And I see that this information is not so useful, so I think I would just delete that. There's a whole bunch of fields that help us understand what's going on, but those 3 fields in particular have particular data entry rules that I wanted to point out. How to nominate items for digitization. When you find an audio that you really are interested in, we have to watch out for certain things. We cannot digitize everything. So if the publisher is any other entity besides KBOO, it is not in our scope to digitize these items. We hold content from other stations, but we only have the rights to digitize and share our own content the way that we want to. So right now, KBOO is prioritizing the preservation of its own produced materials, and other station or program content may already be digitized and available. For example, Democracy Now! Has audio from back to 1998 on Internet Archive, and there are many archives that have other information sources that may already be available. This is another reason why we don't digitize other people's content. But if you do want to request something for digitization, look for the digitization nomination field. Sometimes this might already be filled out. So we're asking people to write in their name and their reason so that we can review it when we bring out lists for digitizing items. We haven't assessed all of the 7,700 items, and we could use your help. What we're interested in is identifying items that are KBOO produced and unique and of particular interest to yourself, or maybe you think that a particular audio is really useful and important for our history. When do they get digitized? It depends on the format, the time, and money, and I cover this in the part 1 video. So here are some examples of nominations. Selena, I put my name, and my reason is this audio is unique to Portland 1970s. Tom likes a rare Allen Ginsberg reading Howl in Portland. So if you want to come and check out what we have and nominate some items, come on down to the station and get on a computer to nominate some items yourself. Additional tools when you are logged in. So everything before I showed you, you can do when you do not have a login. When you have a login, you can download all audio when available, as I mentioned before. You can create collections, for example, save multiple search results or custom collections of items. You can edit all descriptive information and manage alternative files. Admin users, it's a little different level, can upload audio and edit digital object information because not all user groups have access to edit all fields. If you want to play around some more and have more guided experience, we have trainings and an edit-a-thon reunion party. So the trainings are about an hour. It's not going to take the full hour. There's plenty of time for Q&As. They are on Saturday, February 4th, 10 to 11 and 11 to noon. The trainings will go over some database basics, how to use an individual account to save items to collections, how to export search results to a file so you can print it or share it with other people, and I'll be answering questions that you may have. On Saturday, March 18th from 10 to 4, so all day with food and fun, we're having an edit-a-thon reunion party. And this is to reminisce with other volunteers to add missing information to the KBOO Archives memory bank. If you have additional questions, you can reach me at this contact information. And this video will be posted on the KBOO website. Thanks.